and you're listening to a WNBA State of Mind, the sports podcast for women about things that matter to us and more. So come join us on your podcast platform.
Hello, everybody. It's the 12th episode, and I'm here with the WBL All-Stars, who were the Women's Professional Basketball League in the United States. The league played 3 seasons from the fall of 1978 to the spring of 1981. The league was the first, and let me repeat that, the first professional women's basketball league in the United States. Okay? We have the pleasure of having Adrian Mitchell Newell, Machine Gun Molly, and Elizabeth Galloway McQuitter. Here's a little history about my guests. Although unrecognized, Machine Gun Molly was the first player signed to play in the WBL, became a pioneering figure in women's basketball known as a formidable scoring threat in the league. Among her colleagues, Bolin holds the record for the most points scored in a single game by any professional women's basketball player. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was double nickels. Okay? Wow. Not only that, you had the highest single season scoring average of 32.8. Hold that thought right there. I got another 30 bomber on my show. Following up, Anuka Brown. Next up is Adrian Mitchell Newell, who was the WBL second season, second draft pick for the Chicago Hustle. As a scorer, rebounder, and defender, Adrian brought her triple threat attack to the WBL after a record-setting collegiate career at Kansas University, and we all know about Kansas University. At 5'9", you scored most of your points from the post position. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But next up, okay, Adrian, let me go back. She was a WBL All-Star in all-pro selection. You averaged 10.9 points, 6.1 rebounds. And last but not least, because there's more of them, Elizabeth Galloway McQuitter, who was nicknamed the Bandit by radio broadcaster Les Grobstein. For leading the WBL in steals, you had 136 steals in the first season. That's ridiculous. And in the second, okay, you did the same thing. At only 5'9", you led the Hustle in defensive rebounding in the inaugural season. And check this out. You were a single rebound away from averaging a double-double. So you averaged 13 points and 9.3 rebounds. Shut it down. We ain't even get to the 4 steals. That's crazy numbers you putting up, ladies. Welcome to a WNBA State of Mind, where we mainly discuss basketball, but we love other sports. Today, of course, we have an all-star cast of ballers. Lady, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You are making this the most fantastic show that I've had so far in 2020.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank
We're
you.
so happy to be
Thank
here.
you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Please elaborate on the WBL. Take us back to the future one time when we got Machine Gun Molly up first.
Well, you know, I grew up in Iowa, a little town, about 700 people, and playing basketball was the thing to do in the state of Iowa. And of course, we did play different rules, the 6-on-6 rules, which meant that only 3, it was like half court 3-on-3, and of course only 3 people got to shoot. And I guess that was me. I averaged about 55 points a game in high school, and had never played full court basketball 5-on-5 until I tried out for the Olympics for the 1976 made it to the finals before I got cut. My first try at 5-on-5, so I thought that wasn't too bad. And then went to college. One of the our group here won the first college scholarships after Title IX, and I went to college on a scholarship. And I only played 2 seasons when the WBL came up in 1978, December 78, and Iowa was the first team to join the league. And then I was picked to do the the publicity in the governor's office in his chair to sign the first women's professional basketball contract in the United States with the WBL. It was such an exciting thing to have that opportunity. And I think we all just jumped at the chance to play the game we love professionally.
Absolutely incredible. And you talk about underrated. You are so underrated. It's not even funny. Reading about you guys, and you guys, wow, and I'm thinking I'm bad, I'm thinking I'm good as a kid, and I remember I was 11 years old when you guys formed. And I can't say that I knew everything, but you guys made me realize that there was something out there for me. There was something out there after high school, after college, if I didn't want to go overseas. And so it was the hope that you instilled in me as a young lady that I want to just say I appreciate you guys for, right here on camera. So next up, Adrian, please talk about the WBL.
I got, like I said, drafted in the second season. So they had already had 1 season under their belts. So, just like what you were saying, you never thought that you were going to have the opportunity to play anymore after you left your university. So, I was at the University of Kansas. That's where I got drafted from. And I just was so excited to be part of, this operation, this league, that something was there for us where we could play. And I always thought this is the beginning. This is going to go on forever. I never thought that it would end. Like WBL could be the WNBA right now, if we were able to proceed. But unfortunately, I think the business people who got behind it, and they had no idea how much it was going to take. And so we only lasted 3 years. But just think if we had had the backing, because every year better players were coming in. There wasn't room for players, so a lot of them didn't get that opportunity after that 3rd year. But while we played, it was great. And we had great people. We had great coaches, hustle, great organization. So I was just happy to be a part of it and get to do my thing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, Liz, tell us a little something.
Well, I think as pioneers, I don't think you always understand the historical relevance of what you're stepping into. We had just fallen in love with the game. We are also Title IX pioneers and AIAW pioneers, and WBL pioneers. So we were used to being pioneers, but unknowing pioneers. So we didn't recognize what we were stepping into, but it did not take us long to figure it out. That what we were doing, we had little girls, little boys in the stands, little girls in the stands, parents. The girl dad isn't something that just recently occurred. We had fathers who had hopes of their daughters growing up to play professional basketball. So I think the perspective I take with the WBL is that somebody has to be first. Everybody can't be first. And we were the first. We stepped into that moment. We took the baton that had been given to us by Title IX and AIAW, and we ran with it. Also the first Olympians, 8 Olympians from the 1976 Olympic team, 8 WBLers from that team on that first Olympic team. So given the opportunity, we just played the game that we had fallen in love with. We had just fallen in love with it in college, and it was coming to an end. And then we just were able to revive that love affair that we had started. So we took it, we ran with it, we took it as far as we could. But I want to say that we are so much more than the 3 years that league existed. We didn't fail, we propelled future generations and future leagues, because there were several in between before the ABL and WNBA.
Absolutely. You guys have so many of us standing on your shoulders. I just want to say thank you once again. And I'm going to keep on saying thank you until you guys are no longer on my screen. No longer on my screen. I can't. I'm getting all welled up. It's always good to collaborate with other women. Let's talk about Legends of the Ball. Talk to us about that. Anybody can start.
Well, we were inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame as Trailblazers of the Game in 2018. Before that, in 2003, we had a 25-year reunion in Chicago. It was during that time that I think so many of us realized that nobody knew us then, so they certainly didn't know us in 2018. Mm-hmm. It was that frustration of knowing that you were a part of something. And Maya Angelou has a great quote about having bearing this untold story inside you. And so that's where it started. So there were 12 of us that started Legends of the Ball, Inc. And our mission is to promote the historic and social relevance of the WBL, to inspire future generations to break through barriers and realize their potential. Okay, we have been doing that since the league folded. We've never stopped. It's just that we are hidden figures. So that's Legends of the Ball's mission. That was where it started. We now have 9 board members, all former WBL players. And on that board are some of the most decorated women in college, in the pros, in Olympics. Along with the 3 of us you have here, I'm the president, Molly's the vice president, Adrian is the secretary. We have Charlene McCorder-Jackson, who is our treasurer. Rita Swindell, University of Texas, great. Trish Roberts, I know you know that name. Pat Summitt's first African-American and first All-American. DK Deborah Thomas played for Sue Gunner. And I want to talk about that in a moment. And then we have Peggy Gillum Granderson. I'm sure you know Peggy. Peggy coached with the Comets. Her sister Jennifer, you played against. And then Peggy Kennedy, great player at Northern Arizona University. So did I leave anybody off, you guys? I think I got everybody. But so there are 9 of us. There were 12 originally. There are 9 of us. Janie Fincher Rowland, Belinda Candler Copeland, and Janice Fuller were on the original, part of that original 12. So that's who LOB is. And we give back to the community, we give scholarships, but promoting the historical relevance of this league is such a big part of what we do, because this story has got to be told. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to connect the dots to where you started from. And that cheats everybody. That cheats us, it cheats your generation, and it cheats every generation that followed out of women who you could have aspired to be. And the men of the league. We like to talk about the men of it, just the men as well. Mm-hmm. Doug Bruno coaches at DePaul University right now, was our coach for the Chicago Hustle. Yes. And so that's a prime example of how this league, the members of this league, have continued to propel the game forward.
Mm-hmm.
Be still my heart. And it is things that continue on, because we don't know you. They don't know us, and it's just a vicious cycle that needs to be broken. And you're listening to a WNBA State of Mind. I have the heavy hitters on here today. WBL Legends of the Ball. I can't say enough. I really can't say enough. And this rolls Adrian, right into the.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Adrian,
ahead.
Can I just interject this? And I'm sorry. I'm known to talk.
It's okay.
But when what you said, they don't remember us. I just stopped coaching in 2020 after 32 years. I had kids in the school I was coaching, Legacy School of Sports Sciences, who didn't know who Cheryl Swoops was. And they're right there in Houston. Their parents knew. And your generation is going through the same thing. And eventually it will filter down to those 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They will become the new forgotten. So as women, we have got to correct this and make sure that we go back and pick up and put every era on this timeline, because every era contributed to the game that we know today.
Absolutely. You're just hitting it on the head all over the place. The next question you already elaborated on is what concept are you trying to bring to the people? What do they need to understand? And Molly, Adrian, you can elaborate on that.
I think we want people to understand that the WBL was relevant, that we were relevant, that people saw that we as women could play basketball, not dribble, jump, stop, shoot, that we run and gun and run those fast breaks, and we played basketball just like the men. And Liz will tell you, in Chicago, we got more crowds than, pre-Jordan, of course, than Bulls and, all the other sports.
Blackhawks, drew the Blackhawks.
Yeah. So we played exciting basketball, and I think we showed everyone that we could do that. And that was so relevant because I truly believe if we hadn't shown that we could play this game and play it well and make it exciting, that there wouldn't been, progress where they were trying to keep, after we but after our league folded, that they wouldn't have kept trying to build another. If we had, failed at, being exciting and showing what we could do, then okay, they would say, well, why would we want to do another one? And maybe the ABL wouldn't have come along, and maybe the WNBA may not have come along. So I think what we did was very important, and we need people to realize that we were the first, and we paved the way historically for women's professional basketball.
And socially.
Absolutely. And I have to agree with you with Chicago, because before it folded, I played in Chicago with Yolanda Griffith, and the crowd was absolutely fantastic. So when I saw Chicago win the championship, it was like a part of me, just I felt like I was a part of that, because the league folded in Chicago, and those people were so disappointed, and I wanted Chicago so bad to have another team because the fans deserved it. And if there was anybody who deserved to win a championship, it was them, because Chicago has been pioneering with us all along.
Yes.
So shout out to
very supportive.
City of Chicago, stand up. Leading on to the next question, hands down, 2021 was one of the most exciting years in the WNBA. Okay, I'm sure you guys had something to take away from it. What do you see needs to be different or added for the WNBA to continue to compete now that society sees us as a viable investment? There will be other people that come along. What do they need to do to stay afloat?
I think, I think it just needs to be, I think they understand that now too. It's entertainment. And as you look at the NBA, how it progressed from the power players to, the great dunkers, the air flyers, and now look at it, it's the 3-point shooters that bring people on their feet. The Steph Currys, the Clays, it's just amazing. I mean, of course, as a shooter myself, I find that just fun to watch and extremely exciting, but obviously everybody else does too. And I would love to see the WNBA sort of follow the trajectory of now starting to be these super shooters from all over the court, because, the game has taken the progressive steps, similar to, we've got, the WNBA's got, big, powerful, strong players, athletic women. You've got some incredible ball handlers out there, can really pass and move the ball down the court. And you've had good shooters, but let's see that exciting 3-point line just take a notch up, so they can say, hey, the men got nothing on these girls. That's what I would love to see.
I'm going to take it to a more serious level. And I think last year, if you look at how socially conscious those women have become, and so much to the point that they impacted an election in Georgia, I think the personal stories where you see their individual stories, and this is what we're promoting, because our stories are personal stories. And I think once they understand that, that will also breathe life into our documentary that we're working on, trying to get funded. Once you see these personal stories, and then the viewership people connect to them. It becomes more than just she's a basketball player, which leads to the fact that they are skilled players. Molly, would not have what she had if she wasn't skilled, or if Adrian wasn't skilled, if we weren't skilled. And so now these women are getting the viewership, and you turn on and you see the game of basketball played at a high level of skill, as well as the excitement that Molly mentions. But I think it's a multifaceted takeaway from what they did last year and where they need to go in the future. And you're pulling in audiences for all of those different reasons.
Absolutely. What's your take, Adrian?
I just think it was just a phenomenal year altogether for women's basketball, from the locker room fiasco, to, I think that brought so much attention to the differences in the two team, men and women's sports arenas. I think that was a big thing. And then, like Liz was saying, the social impact that the women took on. And girl, basketball looked good for women last year. They rocked and rolled. And so I just think we have to continue to be on that level and elevate it, some more, and keep the game exciting, and people come and watch it. I mean, that crowd in Chicago was great. And what a crowd that was. I mean, we had crowds like that too, but but that, I mean, just to see it on TV, that was really good in this time and era. So
it's definitely
good for the game, good for the women's game. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I loved everything about it, and I think that is fantastic. I can't wait for them to do the top 50, because I need to see my name up in there.
There you go.
All right,
I need to see my name up in there. Okay.
Well, I think Molly could be a part of that top 50 too.
Yo, listen, I promise. Yeah, and it needs to go further, because a lot of people, when they look at basketball, they define it by the WNBA. When the WNBA is the last stop right now. There's the ABL, the WBL, anything that came before that, AIAW, and then anything that came on before that I don't even have in my mind to even recollect. So it's like we need to really seriously sit down and reevaluate this whole thing and how we do everything from USA basketball all the way down to high school, so that we're all connected to one another. So like overseas, people understand where they are, where they're coming from, where they're going to, because they're a part of a club that's going to help make sure that they foster and develop every single thing about them, all the way till they get to the retirement age. Now,
Adrian, I'm not for doing everything like the men, but the men do it. But the men do it. They acknowledge, whether it's Bob Cousy or Jerry West or Wilt Chamberlain on down. They do this. They include them in their greatest players. Yeah, we just don't do it. So we're between them. We're not as old as they are, and so we're between Michael Jordan and Bird, and then Kareem in that group, Dr. J in that group. But they recognize them. They are cemented in their history. They include them in everything they do. They're center stage at the NBA games and All-Star games. They are revered. And so that is one case where I do think we need to follow suit with what they're doing and recognizing, because your group and then the group after is a forgotten group. And sadly, in light of the death of one of our sisters, Lucy Harris, sadly, so many people are now going, oh my goodness, I didn't know about her. Well, on you. Why isn't she in the 50 greatest?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It needs to have a second look, or bump it up to 100 or something. Yeah,
absolutely. Or if it's just going to be a top 25, then that's the WNBA's top 25. That don't have anything to do with the price of tea in China.
Eras. Do it by eras.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways you can do
it. You're absolutely right. So many things that we can elaborate on, and so many things that people, I guarantee you, will take from this. They watch this show. They watch it. I watch them taking things that I've said and taking things that I've done and run with it. And I don't never see anybody with a thank you or anybody with a hey, that's just the way that we do. And we gotta get better than that. We gotta stop always painting the narrative of how we want it to be or how they want it to see, how people want it to be seen, instead of telling the truth. Okay, because the truth is gonna set everybody free. You know, you can't satisfy everybody, but you can at least make everybody feel equally as important. You know, it's not that hard. It really isn't. It's not. And it really isn't. We have, unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot. You know, we have our Players Association, which only actively takes care of the former players, of the current players. The former players are out on their own, trying to survive in every single aspect of their life. Okay, no credit to any of them. Okay, then we have the National Basketball Retired Players Association, but that's really geared towards the men. If you look at the policies that are in place, we have less than half of what they're getting, all the way to assistance per year, to the health insurance that never even crossed our doorstep yet, and men have been getting it on the retirement side for the last 3 years. So this leads up to my last question, okay, before we end the show. All right, in what ways can we collaborate and the legends of basketball help or assist players during or after basketball? What is it that we're not getting? Can we come to you guys?
Absolutely. And I think it's got to be both ways, because we also need you guys. We can tell you about our path and our journey, but you mentioned the National Basketball Retired Players Association. We have reached out to them. We are the male counterparts of a lot of those men who are retired, as we're the female counterparts, I'm sorry, and we are reaching out to collaborate. So the word to me is collaboration. With Rusha Brown, we've spoken to her, Terry Carmichael. So I think collaboration is where we need to be between our organization and all the other organizations. Otherwise, what happened to us is going to continue to happen to all of those who follow us. Okay. And then inspire the future generations. If we can teach them how we need to take care of each other, women need to take care of each other. There's a man, Michael Hootner, on the Sports Deli podcast we were on, and he says bet on women, and as his hashtag. And so we need to bet on women. Women are getting things done, but we have to do it and support each other.
I think it's important that everybody sort of understands that it just didn't magically happen that one day that the NBA decided to add the WNBA, that there is a history, and it's important and relevant. Just the fact that, you know, the WBL is the first viable league prior to the WNBA. After that, you know, I had my successful pro basketball career ripped away from me, and all of a sudden I was a pro without a league. And I think a lot of players don't kind of understand, have such a deeper appreciation for the opportunities that they have. If you look back to see those that sacrificed and worked really hard to make this happen. So not only did I play in the WBL, but 3 years later, we tried another league to follow the 1984 gold medal Olympic team with the WABA that lasted one season. In 1986, I was involved starting an NWBA Women's Pro League that unfortunately didn't get the funding. And then after that, I was constantly searching, constantly trying to get another league going here in the United States. Because of my situation, I was unable to go overseas. So I was all in to make it happen here in the United States. And then finally in 1996, you know, the WNBA made the announcement that we were going to have a league, and here we are 25 years later.
Yes. Adrienne, come on, give us a little bit.
I'm going to go back to your previous question, because one of the things that happened to the WBL is I think we tried to grow too fast, and we branched out, you know, okay, well, we got this league, let's start another WPBL over here and something else over here. And I think that hurt us a lot. And so what I've just heard is that there's going to be another basketball league. Is that correct, Liz?
Athletes United.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, so I think we shouldn't spread ourselves too thin. It's so much sports on television already. And we're fighting and fighting for television coverage and, people to come out and see. And so, I hope this works, but I hope we're not like crushing each other,
And Adrian, that speaks to why we need more WNBA teams, because there's this group of talent that has nowhere to go. So they want to play professionally, so they play there. So maybe the answer lies in expansion within a league that can be supported, so that all these young women that are going to that league have an opportunity to play. There's still a lot of great talent with not enough teams.
Yeah, but if you start spreading it around, you're gonna...
I get your point.
Yeah, okay.
I get your point. I'm just trying to say maybe a solution is to get more WNBA teams so that group can have an opportunity to play in the game.
I agree with you 100% on that. I think that before we see expansions in teams, I think we're going to see the rosters expand prior to that. If they can do that, if they can add 3 players per team, that'd be awesome as well. Even for the first year, but we'll see what happens. Ladies, to wind down the show, please tell me how people can get in touch with you on social media. Take it out of here for us, Elizabeth.
Okay, well, they can follow us on our website, Legends of the Ball Inc. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're going to be on TikTok. So that's coming. So we hope that you'll follow our message. We go to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame every year. We're at the Women's Basketball Coaches Association, NCAA. We have a booth there every year. So there's lots of ways that they can follow us in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So ladies, if anyone is going to be at the NCAA games, we'll be Final Four. We'll have a booth there at the WBCA. Come stop by and see us.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic. I'll definitely make it a point to do that. Thinking about coming out to H-Town for the NCAA. H-Town is one of my favorite places to be, to go, to live. And so,
let me know.
I'll get to catch up with you guys when I get out there. Ladies, namaste. You're listening to a WNBA State of Mind. Had the WBL on here. Adrian Mitchell Newell, Machine Gun Molly, and Elizabeth McQuitter. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Namaste. I appreciate you. Much love and blessings to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Let me see.